Hi guys, welcome back to my sewing space. For those who don't know me, my name is Bitmelopula and this is my channel. So today I will be showing you guys how I made this satin bonnet. It's beautiful, it's light, it's simple, and it's just so convenient to wear all day, every day, of course when you're in the house. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be doing today. Just join me, grab your machine, grab your fabric, let us start sewing. I'll start off by drafting the pattern. It is quite easy and quick. So for that, I will need a pattern paper. I'll need some pens and markers, a measuring tape, and a ruler. Move everything out of the way and start drafting. Take your marker and a ruler and draw a vertical line measuring 35 centimeters. Draw a horizontal line also measuring 35 centimeters at a 90-degree angle to the initial line that you drew. Don't forget to write down your measurements on your draft. It is always a good thing to do this because you might need this in future. Join those 2 points, but to do this, you either need to use a dressmaking ruler that's over 30 centimeters long or a measuring tape like me. So I will use a measuring tape mainly because my ruler is not longer than 30 centimeters, and I find using a measuring tape quite easier. What I'm trying to achieve now, it is just to make a point at 35 centimeters from the center. So continue doing this until you get to the horizontal line. Take your marker and draw a curve connecting all those points you've just created now. You may either do this freehand or you can use a French curve. I'm just gonna go freehand because I trust myself like that. And just like that, our pattern is done. Now for this specific one, you don't really need to do a seam allowance. All of that is included in this pattern. So once you're done and all your points are connected, you can just cut your pattern out. Coming to the main part of the video, you will need your fabric. So I used 2 different colors as this is going to be a reversible bonnet and I want both colors. So I have a black and navy blue satin. You'll also need your scissors. You'll need your thread. And the thread that I'm going to use is the navy blue one because the black doesn't go with the blue that I have. You'll need your measuring tape, your pins and elastic. Move everything out of the way so you can lay down your fabric. You'll lay your fabric into 4 pieces. By this I mean you will fold it in half 2 times. So you must have 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you just lay your fabric there, making sure that your folds are nice and straight and they are aligned. And once you are happy with that, you'll take your pattern paper and place it over, making sure that it's right on the folds. Make sure that your pattern paper doesn't go over the fold but it's sitting right on the folds. Once you're happy with that, pin that down and cut it. Take the second piece of fabric and fold it exactly the same way as the first one. You can either place your pattern paper or the first cut out piece and use it as a reference, whichever one is fine for you. But just make sure that the folds are matching, whether using a paper or the first cut out. Once you're happy, you can pin it and cut it out. Now that you have both your pieces cut out, match them in such that your right sides are together. Now you're doing this because you want to sew on the wrong side. Once your pieces are aligned, pin them together and take them to the sewing machine. Make your first stitch at 1 centimeter all around, making sure to leave the 6 centimeter gap at the end. The first stitching is complete all around the circle, but of course I left the 6 centimeter gap. I've also done the zigzag. Remember to always overlock your satin. I'm sure with other fabrics you can get away with it, but then I'm working with satin and you guys know what happens to your edges if you don't zigzag satin. Turn out your project right side out and flat iron it. Guys, please have a look at this project. It needs some ironing. It's all bubbled up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and iron it. So this is what it will look like when you iron it. Just look at those edges. They are nicely pressed, and I must say it's quite easier working with a flat iron project, especially if it's satin. Right now I need to do 2 stitches right around. So my first line, I will draw the lines first. So my first line will be there and the second line will be there. So I'm going to refer my measurements in inches because it's just simpler that way than in centimeters. So the first line, which is the outer line that I'm going to draw, will be at 1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch is fine. And then the second one, which is the inner one, will be at 1.5 inches. Now that gap between the 1 and 1.5 is where the elastic we're gonna go. So the elastic that I am gonna use is the size of this measuring tape. So that gap is perfect. Let's draw. I'm going to go ahead and sew my first line right over that line that I marked there. Obviously I did that just to make my life easier. So starting from that point, I'll go all around, stopping at that point. Remember, you leave out that gap that I temporarily closed with pins, only for this line though. The next one you'll have to close it all around. First line done and dusted, and that's what it looks like. So I left out the gap that I've been preaching about all this time. So there's the famous gap. I'm going to go ahead and do the second line basically the same way as I did with the first one. So the second line though, it will be at 1.5 inches. Now the reason why I'm saying that, guys, I told you already, it's because of the elastic that I'm going to use. So this is the elastic that I'm going to use. As you can see, it's quite thin, and that 1/2 inch difference between the first and second line should do. So yeah, let's do the second line at 1.5 inches. There's the second line, the inner line. It is not so straight, but also it's not too bad. I mean, it's just good enough for the elastic to go through. And here's my elastic. It's about 52 centimeters long, which is the circumference of my head. I have a very small head. I mean, whether you have a big or small head, you will still need to measure your head, or you can size the elastic on your head before you cut it out. And when you do this, be careful not to make it too loose or too tight. It should just fit your head perfectly. Let us fit the elastic. I'll use the safety pin for today. So I'll take my elastic using my pin, and I'll pull it through that 1/2 inch space that I created. So when you pull your elastic through, be careful to hold the other end of the elastic so that it doesn't pass through as well. At this point, I can say that it's safe to try the bonnet on. So we're doing this to see how the bonnet fits. Whether is it too tight or is it too loose. If it's too loose, you're gonna have to adjust it and cut out the excess. If it's too tight, unfortunately, you will need to cut out another elastic. So I initially made a knot there, as you can see, but then it doesn't look too nice. It is very bulky, and I just had to undo that knot and make a straight stitch followed by zigzags. So once you've sorted out your elastic, you're gonna have to close that gap, making a blind stitch using a hand needle. So good luck with that. Make a blind stitch there. And that's about it, guys. The bonnet is done. So let me look pretty for my pretty bonnet. Let's go. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means a lot. So I hope you will make your own bonnet, or you already made one. Thank you so much for watching. Please, before you go, don't forget to subscribe, comment and share. And guys, till we meet next time, bye.